welcome to another episode of Eberhart Outdoors. This one's going to be an all-day sit. I was on Tuesday, I think it was November 1st. I actually saw, I think, 7 different bucks. One was a half rack, 8, so it was a 4-point. Left side was broke right at the base. He was with another 8-point, and he was actually the dominant buck. The half rack was the dominant buck, even though the other one had a nicer rack. And he came within 10 yards. I haven't hunted a lot since I did shoot that one 8-point. I've been out maybe 6 times. I went out last evening on some public land up in northern Michigan by my house, and I rattled in 2 bucks. One was a spike horn, a little short spike, and the other one was a 6-point. So anyway, this all day sits in a big swamp. I have to cross a river with waders. It's really mucky. It's not real wide creek, but it's very muddy and very deep. Saw quite a few deer all day. Saw deer all day long. Most of them were in the morning, though. You know, people poo-poo mornings, and it's because they're lazy and they don't want to get their butts out of bed, or they're hunting in areas where they don't have to hunt mornings. Most TV guys don't have to hunt in the mornings, and they almost always hunt over food. You know, shell corn hidden in the weeds or food plots or something like that, where you obviously can't hunt mornings because you're spooking the deer with your entries. So they poo-poo morning hunts because of that. And they don't hunt natural settings anyway. Everything's man-made. So when you're hunting natural settings, mornings are every bit as good as evenings. In fact, this time of year, I like mornings better. I think mornings are better because the deer have been calm all night. Then they're still if they're with a doe, they're still chasing. There's one video on this one of a buck chasing a doe for, you know, back and forth through the swamp. I think I saw 2 does all day, 7 different bucks. That's the one thing about this time of year, pre-rut, when the bucks are chasing and you're in the security cover where the bucks typically live. You know, if they're moving during daylight, it's usually in heavy security cover like this swamp. Does don't want anything to do with them because they get chased. All the subordinate bucks chase them. A mature buck won't chase a doe if she's not in heat or really close to being in estrus. But little bucks chase them all the time, so they don't like being pestered. So they try to avoid areas where bucks are, you know, during daylight hours, and then at night they all move out into the big feeding areas, whether it be timber and acorns or whatever, mast, or in ag areas, crop fields. This time of year is really interesting because the bucks they're moving in security cover. That's why I'm in the swamp this time of year, where they can transition and feel comfortable. They always have a quick exit route. You know, hunt in security cover right now, but you got to commit to being in there very early in the morning, so you're not spooking anything with your entry. And if possible, try to do an all-day sit. 5 of the 7 bucks I saw were in the morning before 9 o'clock. Then I rattled one in the middle of the day. I also mentioned Mr. Infault in this video. I can't believe he called activated carbon pixie dust. I mean, every military on the face of the earth uses it to protect soldiers from getting killed in chemical warfare, because the activated carbon actually absorbs the chemical molecules as they're permeating through the fabric before they'll get to the soldier's body and kill them. That's what it's made for. That's what chemical warfare is for. It's for killing people with just chemicals. And obviously, if they're using activated carbon, there's a reason they're using it. It's to protect the soldiers for their lives. So NASA uses it in spacesuits. It's used in so many different things, in so many industries, and by governmental bodies. And for somebody to just say pixie dust, really? You know, everybody does stuff for money anymore. I don't. I did a video talking about steps, tree hopper steps, because they're better than Cranfords. I rep for Cranford. I make a little bit of money on those Cranford ring of steps, but they're metal, they're heavy, and they're noisy. They're noisier, but they were the best thing out there when they were out, and there was nothing else. I'm mentioning to people that they are better than the Cranfords because they're quieter, they nest together, they're plastic, and they're lighter. I don't make a dime off that. I don't care about the money. You know, I mentioned clothing in here. All clothing is just general hunting clothing to me. If it doesn't have activated carbon in it, it does nothing for scent control, in my opinion. You know, antimicrobials on an exterior suit mean nothing. You know, that's like spraying the outside of your house because you have ants in the house. You have to, antimicrobials work when they're against the skin. So having an exterior suit where you got undergarments underneath it with an antimicrobial treatment in the exterior suit means almost zero. The only other technology that other companies like, you know who I'm talking about, I'm not going to mention them, all the high profile companies where stuff's way overpriced, you know, they might have a polyurethane or a Gore-Tex membrane in them to keep them waterproof. But other than that, they don't do squat for scent control, in my personal opinion. I've done tons and tons of research on this. This isn't just somebody saying something. I only promote ScentLok because ScentLok is the only company that can use activated or their carbon alloy liner. They have the patent on it. Nobody else can use it, so of course they're going to knock it. It doesn't work. Well, obviously, if they can't use it, they're going to knock it, right? Otherwise, for them to use activated carbon, they got to pay ScentLok a royalty. Just about every clothing manufacturer poo-poos activated carbon because they can't use it without paying a serious amount of money to use it. And money drives what they're pushing to people. I don't know. You know, that's for some people. It just ain't for me. And if I mention something, it's the best in its category, in my personal opinion. ScentLok and ScentBlocker. ScentLok owns Blocker now. And they're using carbon as well. But there's no number two beyond ScentLok and ScentBlocker for scent control, in my opinion, because there's nobody else that uses activated carbon. That's just the way it is. I've done the research, extensive research. A deer has 200 million olfactory senses, and people have 5 million olfactory senses. That means they have 40 times better noses than we do. I don't care. That doesn't make any difference to me. You know, I've proven it for 20-some years. I just don't get winded. And for 35 years, I played the wind exclusively. I always hunted the wind. So I'm not saying stuff just to say stuff. You know, and these people just argue. You know, there's people on some of these replies that's like, John, just go away. They don't want to hear anything different. They're happy doing what they're doing, which is basically just hunting. Well, I'm trying to make people better, give people the opportunity to be better hunters, to have more opportunities, more sightings. When you're hunting in a swamp, you're going to have deer downwind of you. I don't know how many deer were downwind of me because I wasn't really playing wind, but I had deer around me all times during the day. I had deer from every direction. And the wind was swirling and it was windy. That stuff works, and I don't care if you use it or not. I could care less. There's no money in it for me. I don't get paid by ScentLok. I'm making a little bit of a royalty on the saddle hunter suit, which is absolutely awesome. But ScentLok does not pay me to promote their product. So I'm not doing this for money. I have a decent living. I'm okay. The people that are doing it for money, I struggle with the prices they charge people for things. Anyway, I hope you enjoy this video.
Something just got his attention. There's 2 Michigan 11 pointers. I'm on an all-day sit. It's 12 o'clock, noon. See, there's a creek over there. I had to cross that creek. I saw 6 bucks this morning. 4 spike horns, half rack, 4-point. Would have been an 8. And a really nice 8-point. It was about 10 yards away. You can just see it's all tall marsh grass. A lot of bogs over there. Some bogs over here. There's a burr over there. But this is just a big swamp. There's runways meandering all through here. It's a great place for an all-day sit during pre-rut. Majority of those haven't came into estrus yet, so the bucks are searching for those early estrus does, and I did see one with a doe this morning. He was chasing some smaller bucks, probably two of the spikhorns that I saw, but he was running those little spikes around, getting them out of the way. And then the half rack was right about in here somewhere, and he was actually a dominant buck over the 8-point, which was actually bigger. The 8-point was a nice buck, probably 110 incher. I could have shot him easy. That half rack was the dominant one because he was running that 8-point around. Seriously overcast. Rain last night. Just a beautiful day. Gorgeous day for an all-day set. There's a big dead, huge oak. There's a runway just to the side of it. You can see that coming down through here. I can't jump that oak, it's too big. So they have to skirt the two sides. stealth strips. And all I said about stealth strips was if you're doing a scent control program, you can't use stealth strips on your sticks because they hold odor. That's just an absolute fact. You're better off painting your sticks. But for all the hunters that don't use scent lock and have zero scent control regiment, they still have to pay attention to the wind. You don't have to do that. You can buy all the stealth strips you want. Hell, you can put stealth strips on the trees to quiet them down while you're climbing if you want. You gotta keep that in mind when I'm talking about stuff like that. I'm not picking out a particular brand. I'm just talking about fabric in general. Wearing other camouflage clothing, it has no technology in it. If it doesn't have activated carbon, you can't have a sun control program. So that's just all bundled in as far as I'm concerned, in my opinion. It's just hunting clothing. I struggle with these companies and these people that just do everything for money. I'm trying to make people better hunters. If they don't want to take it and try it, that's fine. They can throw their milkweed and play the wind, whatever they want to do. I really don't care. But to poo-poo something you know absolutely nothing about, calling activated carbon pixie dust, you gotta be kidding me. Meh. Meh. You can see it, but there's a doe over there. And so far on this all-day sit, already I've had deer every direction from me, 360, and nothing is winded. That's one thing about hunting all day in a swamp. You're gonna have deer in every direction almost always. So scent control is a monstrosity of a deal.
If interested, the links to many of the podcasts I've been on, or for information about my 2-day whitetail workshops that take place in March and April, please visit my website at deer-john.net. Thank you for watching another episode of Eberhart Outdoors, and to receive notifications for future videos, please subscribe.